Let's talk about the best of the worst from Phyrexia, All Will Be One. That's the top 3 cards from that set that are seeing play in 1% or less of decks since that set's release. In the number 3 slot, we have Kethek, Crucible Goliath. For 2 black and red, we get a 4/4 legendary creature, Phyrexian Beast. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-legendary creature card with lesser mana value, put it onto the battlefield, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Kethek is a really interesting role player. He comes with great stats, and I think the most obvious home is a aristocrat style deck or maybe a Sacrifice Matters deck, and could be really good in like a Death Triggers deck. I even think this could be good enough in an Enters the Battlefield style deck. You only get something that costs less than what you sacrifice, so there is a little bit of a downside there, but at the same time, in Enters the Battlefield decks, you mostly care about the trigger that comes with the creature and not necessarily the body itself. So being able to play something out, get its effect, sack it, get another random effect could be really interesting, and I think something worth looking into. In the number 2 slot, we have Sword of Forge and Frontier. For 3, we get an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from red and green. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. You may play an additional land this turn. Equip 2. So the sword cycle is not as popular today as it once was, but this card is still pretty good. 3 mana for an equipment, 2 mana to equip. It's a little bit slow, but if you get it on there, you get the protection, you get the stat boost, and you get ramp and card draw. The 2 things that are the most important things in the Commander format. So even though it's a sword, I think this is worth looking at and probably underplayed. In the number 1 slot, we have Graz, Unstoppable Juggernaut. For 8 mana, you get a 7/5 legendary artifact creature, Juggernaut. Juggernauts you control attack each combat if able. Juggernauts you control can't be blocked by walls. Other creatures you control have base power toughness 5/3 and are Juggernauts in addition to their other creature types. Okay, 8 mana is a lot, but stay with me. Graz being colorless is super important. There's a lot of token decks out there that aren't in green, and the best overrun effects are in green. So I think Graz is being way underutilized as the top end finisher for a token deck that is not in green. That's it for Best of the Worst. Phyrexia All Will Be One. This set actually is being pretty widely adopted across the format, so looking at the ones that aren't being used was pretty interesting, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about the cards that I picked, or if you thought that I missed something else that was a little bit better than these.